Okay, now we have this order target that's coming from the sales, and we are combining this data. Let's do a little bit of cosmetics in here. So probably what I would like to do is uh, increase the data label. So this one got increased. Um, Target label. So data label was 16. Let's make target label as also 16. So it's visible, nice and easy. Um, Color. Let's choose a color. Target, will give it a red color. This line. And for the orders, let this be something of a population color. Okay, I'm gonna make a duplicate of this, or let's do one thing. Let's just try to uh, rebring one more gauge, so that way it will be a quick revision of what we did the other day. Uh, Before I said this, I can actually resize it by just looking at the property of this gauge chart. It's actually available for any visuals where you're trying to develop the cosmetics. So go to a visual, go to the general properties. Height and width is 178 to 74. Okay, now if you want to make this the same height, you have to first start by populating this visualization. So it's obvious. Let's just quickly populate this. Now the next thing that we want to deal with is the revenue. Okay, and for the revenue, let's go to the measure library. Let's see what are the calculations we have for the revenue. So we have the total revenue in place that I'll be plotting in the data, and we have the target revenue, which is the revenue previous month, right? So that's the target, and we have the total revised revenue that will be the maximum value. Now, if you see, these values are not working at this point, and that's because you'll have to start making amendments to the total revenue. Okay, so let's start by bringing the AW calendar in here, and start of the month, keep it on the top. Oops, my bad. Uh, the limit has to go on this version. Start of the month, right? Do a top end analysis. Bring the AW sales start of the month, yeah? Plot it here. We'll just get the latest sales of the month, keep it as top one. There we go. So that's one thing. Um, Again, if you want to build in the color, simply pass the format from this to this and update the color maybe to something different. Okay, now we're talking about resizing, just like the order target, right? So go to the general properties of order target. Gauge chart 178 by 274 is the height and width. So 178. Next one is 274 width. There you go. It's placed nice and easy. Um, General section title, I'd like to keep it as order target. And here, let's keep it as revenue. There you go. So that's a quick revision. Of course, if you remember on the measure, the total revised revenue, we had kept the revised price as dynamic. So if you remember the entire exercise, we basically kept the revised price as dynamic here, right? So the idea of the entire exercise was that, the revised price, this one, is 1 plus the target value, right? And we created a slider And this target value is a measure in the slider, right? That is basically picking up. So you have the target percentage, which is generating the series, and inside the target percentage, there's a measure called target percentage value, which is basically using the function called selected value. So whatever slider you're picking up, or whatever value you're picking up in the slider, let's say, okay, let me just increase the yeah, let's make it 16. There you go. So if you make it 10%, it reacts accordingly. If you make it 20%, you go negative, there will be no target set because obviously you are giving discounts. So accordingly, targets are reduced. So you can dynamically set up your target now. So that's a small example of a predictive analytics. We'll see furthermore in-depth analysis. We have created our profit percentage, etc. So we'll see how the profits are getting distributed as well. Now auto target, revenue target. Let's save the progress and let's build a last gauge chart, and that will be the last gauge chart. Let this be orders, returns. So on the returns, what I'm going to place is go to the measure library. Let's go to the return, um, total return quantity, total return previous month, uh, which is the target. I guess total return previous month, let's keep it the max value because we should not be setting up any target here. Our target is to have zero returns, right? That's the objective always. Now, the idea is again, to bring in the start of the month here, right? Perfect. Okay, so we're talking about one more gauge chart here. We did a return target and 167, 169 in here. 169 is the previous month's return. So unlike the other gauge charts where the previous month returns were parked in the target, I'm keeping it in the maximum value in this chart because we don't have a target for returns. Our return target is always zero, but we are still monitoring how much returns are happening every month and for the previous month. So that's something that's established in here. We established the first three rows of the visualization. Let's quickly bring in one more line chart. Now this time I'm going to park a line chart. I want to bring in an area chart. Okay, area chart and line chart, if you see, are having exactly the same axis because they are cost. I mean, they are theoretically the same visualization, but they're theoretically the same visualization. It's just cosmetically they are different. So that's the reason they got exactly the same axis. So just like the line chart, the area chart have exactly the same axis. So in the area chart, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to plug the start of the month, and I'm not going to take the date here. I can just picking up the start of the month from the calendar, and I am going to look into the returns, okay, on a monthly return. So let's go to the library. Let's go to the return, total return quantity, and this is what my returns are. Now, total returns, let's just keep it as title as monthly returns. Okay. Now, one thing that I want to bring in the monthly returns is also counting the monthly returns. So this is the sum of monthly return. Let's also count this monthly return. It means number of times a product has been returned. For example, if I have to say on a particular date, maybe someone had bought cookies and they had bought 10 pieces of cookies. Okay, and they have returned. There are two customers. One bought 10 pieces of cookies, the other bought 5 pieces of cookies. Okay, so on a particular date, imagine that the first customer bought 10 cookies, have returned maybe three of them, kept seven, but three of them were maybe damaged, so he returned. And the other customer again has one damaged item, so he bought 5 cookies and returned one. So the total number of return is 3 plus 1, 4. Yeah, but the number of time the product has been returned is 2, because there are two customers return the product twice, correct? So the product has been returned twice, and the number of product that has been returned is 4 pieces. Yeah. So that's what we are doing. Now we're going to do the return count. Okay. So I'm going to actually copy this formula, create a new measure, and this time I'm going to say total return. And I'm going to do a count of the return quantity. I can do a count or count A, it's actually going to be one and the same. It's going to give me the same result. Um, it's just a matter of time that I start placing the return count against the return quantity and I get the difference. So probably what I would like to do is I'll go to the lines, colors, of course, reduce the width a bit, colors, markers, let's just turn on the markers. Total return count, let's keep it red in color. Return quantity, let's keep it slight grayish in color. Okay. Now, if you look into, I really don't want to overcrowd by popping in the labels, because if you pop in the labels, it will be super amount of count. So best is that, we hover and get the values. But before I move on to that, let's go to the x-axis, turn it off. Let's go to the y-axis, turn off the title, turn off the entire y-axis. That's good. Grid lines, if you want, you can actually turn off the grid lines also. Vertical grid lines. That's good. Monthly returns. One more last thing that you'd like to do maybe is to bring the legend in the bottom center. There you go. And if you hover now, you'll see at certain point there will be a difference. So for example, in the month of August, right? You see there are 120 items being returned in total, but it was returned 118 times. So that's something that I wanted to bring in here. Okay. Now, if you look at the profits, let's plug in some visuals for profits as well. I'm going to actually duplicate this. Okay, but let's just plot this profits at first. So similarly, just like the start of the month that we plotted out there, this time, let me just title this out to monthly profits. And y-axis, I'm going to park the total profit. There you go. You can actually bring this format on the top as well. All right, and give this a color. Probably turn off the markers. We don't need the markers here. And here, let's just give this line a color. Maybe let's give it a charcoal color. There you go. So of course, it's showing a rising trend on the monthly profits. Let's just duplicate this. Now, first thing that I want to plug in here on the monthly profit is the way, I have actually parked the profit, revised profits, right? So we have total profit and we have uh, total revised profit. Revised profit is nothing much but the revised revenue that we are bringing. What is the revised revenue? Basically the order quantity with the revised price, which is basically we are inflating or deflating the price using this slicer. That's leading to change in the revenue, and change in the revenue leading to the changes in the profits. So if I have to park this total profit, revised profit, okay, and I'm going to park this revised profit next to the total profit. So I'll have two different legend. Now, one that is showing a 10% inflation, what could be the monthly distribution of the profit? What one thing that I would like to do is for the lines, let's go to the total revised profit and keep it a dotted line. And I can bring a color to this. There you go. So at any point, you'll be able to see the price after the inflation or deflation. So let's say I keep it as 20% profit. You'll see that the profits are accordingly shifting. So this is a predictive analytics. It means we have a data in place, and on the data we are passing a condition to understand what will be the changes like when we witness those inflation or deflation. Yeah, so that's one thing that we have achieved. Now, the next thing that I want to achieve is a very interesting concept called the concept of forecasting. It means looking beyond the existing point of data. At this point and all this while, if you look at the predictive analytics, we're looking till the data is available, and the last point of data is available till June. Okay. Now, if I have to look into the data for monthly profits, and we have to forecast it, we can do a forecasting. You see this third option in the visualization panel. So we have the first option where we plug our profit. The second one is where we build our cosmetic changes, right? This formatting or visuals. This is the third option in the line chart when you plug a category axis. Is the add further analysis to your visualization. This is basically bringing in the analytics. Now there are other stuffs in here. You can plug in a trend line, constant line, minimum, maximum, average line. Just need to add it. Okay, so I would like to keep the forecast on. Let's focus on the forecast. So if I turn on the forecast, you see a regular forecast with some forecast length of 10 months. Let's say I just keep it a 3 months forecast length at this point, which means 3 points means 3 months forecast. So from the data ending point, in June, we'll go for the next 3 months. That's what we are trying to. And seasonality, I'll just keep it auto at this point, and 95%. Let's keep it as 95% confidence interest interval. So what does that mean? Let's zoom in. So on the forecast, now picking up the 3 points forecast, you are actually getting July, August, and September forecast. And what does 95% confidence interval means? It actually says that I'm 95% confident that my upper bound and lower bound are not going to cross that limit. So if you look at the forecast from the previous month, it is forecasting that our next profit will be around $811,000. Okay, on July 2017, right? And if you see the upper bound, it's saying that our profit will go as high as $930,000 if it has to go, or if the profit has to fall, it will not fall beyond 693. Similarly, in August and September. Now, if you keep a seasonality, let's say keep a 3 seasonal points as well, just like the 3 forecast. So you'll see that it's actually taking the 3 seasons. It means that it is going through the last 3 years of the data and checking on how each year on that particular point in July were the profits line. And accordingly, it is parking the upper bound and the lower bound. Of course, you can increase and decrease the confidence interval. Let's say I increase the confidence interval, the area of the confidence interval will increase. All right. So that's forecast. Very simple, very uh, easy to plot visualization. All right, we are almost to the closure of this visualization. Let's plot one more last point in here. And before I do that, okay, yeah, let's do that first. Multi-row card. A multi-row card is a very interesting visualization. It actually plots okay, multi-row visualizations. What do you do with multi-row visuals? Let's say I have my revenue, right? Total revenue. And I'm going to plot my total revised revenue as well. Look at this. It's a beautiful way of representing the data. Now, total revised revenue is in dollars, good, but I need it to be in 0 decimal points. So every time you make any changes, right? Look at this. Let's say I just drop the revenue, or let's say I give some discount, seasonal discount, let's say 30% off on all the products. This will be my revised revenue. So you can instantly and at live view, if you keep it to 0, you'll see that the revised revenue and the total revenue are of the same values. So very dynamic, very potential way of creating some good masterpiece of formulas. Now, what I wanted to bring over here with the remaining analysis is, can we narrow down to a particular product and let's see how it performed. We can do that using this visualization. This is really going to be very, very interesting. So if I have to go to the filters
Yes.
and let's say uh, filter on this page, okay. So what I'm going to do is AW products and I'm going to park the product name. Now let's say I want to maybe drill down to a particular product. Let's say I want to drill down to the water bottle. I want to understand what is the sales like.
Sorry.
Simply click on water bottle. Now you see you have drilled down to the water bottle visuals, right? You see.
Yeah.
Now what you can do is you can bring in a card over here, okay? And in the card you can also show what product are you viewing. So that way your users are always aware what they are actually viewing. Let's say I bring in the product name, first of product name. Now since we are drilled down to water bottle, so the first and the last and the minimum and the maximum product will always be water bottle, right? Because we're drilled down to water bottle. If you pick any other product, we'll accordingly see that particular product. And I'm going to actually show you that. Let me just turn off this call out value. Let's keep it to 25 in size. And let's give it a title. What can be the title? You are currently viewing data for. Let's just keep this title up, give it a background, okay? Let's make it white in color, give it a background. And this water bottle that you're viewing, Let's just give that also a background. Call out value. Mm, okay. In the effects, let's give it a background color. Let's say give this, yeah. And in the visual call out value, let's give this a color. Perfect. So what happens now? Look at the way cosmetics makes it so elegant way you represent your data. So cosmetics are really really good. Let's say I want to bring in some mountain bikes for my analysis. Let's say, of course, if you are clearing out all the filter, you just get to see all purpose bike stand because that's alphabetically the first product. But if you drill down to only a particular product, let's say you drill down to hmm, mountain bike, some sort of mountain bike, or let's say mountain bottle cage. Look at this. So you can drill down to any product. Now the interesting part will be to see how this product drills down and communicates with other pages and other visuals. So let's say, do you see this visualization? Now, currently I'm not selecting a single visualization here, Upasana. Look at the top, bottom right corner. There's an option called add drill through fields here. Add drill through fields. So if I'm actually going to park the same filter here, product name, add drill through fields here. Okay, this works like a regular filter. If you see, if you go into this drill through filter, you can actually drill down your data. Let's say you search for water bottle and drill down. You see your data freeze, drills down. No problem. It works like a regular filter. But what is the advantage of this drill through feature? First thing, the moment I plotted the drill through feature, there's a action icon in here. Do you see? This action icon that is placed here. It automatically comes. And if you look into the action of this, this is a type back. So it's just like a browser, you go backward and forward right in the browser. In a similar fashion, this one is the last page. So you click on this and it will take you to the last page that you have visited. So if I go to executive summary now, I have plotted the drill through feature, right? Now, if I go to the executive summary, let's just save the progress here. And let's say I want to drill down to a particular product. Let's say I want to drill down to this Mountain 200 Black 46. This is the most high, that's the product that has generated the highest profit, right? Let's look at this product, Mountain 200 Black 46. Let's just right click, and there's an option to drill through, and it's taking you to page one, right? Now, let me say I rename this page. Let's say I rename this page to product details. You'll see in the executive summary, let's say go back to Mountain 200 Black 46, drill through. Now you can drill down to product details. So it remembers the page where you have parked your drill through. And the moment you click on this, now you are drilling down to Mountain 246 by and its respective values, right? You can actually analyze, make changes, take decision, and focus on a particular point. So a business can now focus on a particular point to drill down. Now let's say they want to focus on road bottle cage, drill through product details, road bottle cage. So that actually is something really really giving you a more power to your analysis. So that way we're going to actually conclude our session here today.